And this is a car that teenage me really lusted after. I don't know if you people want to see a big smoky burnout or anything like that. Nice truck.
Let's catch it.
You want to?
On this episode of Chase Classic Motors, we're joyriding back to our youth in the ultimate Fox body Mustang, Ford's all-time best-selling sports car.
Y'all buckle up now.
With over 2.5 million sold over its 14-year run, the Fox-era Mustangs came in all styles and were popular with buyers of every description.
And this is my new car. Oh, yeah.
From the everyday dad to the teenage jock to the modern businesswoman, the third-generation Ford Mustang was the little sports car that looked good and got you noticed on the road and at home. Compact, stylish, and infinitely customizable, the Fox generation Mustangs were a template for gearheads everywhere and a big part of American pop culture in the 1980s and 90s. And best of all, our customer's Mustang is the celebration model, the final and best of the breed, the rare and collectible 1993 SVT Cobra. That will give us a chance to learn more about this track-inspired Titan from our teenage years, along with how this fantastic Fox came into being, namely its history with Ford in Europe and its success stateside as the little police car that chased Porsches for a living. So join us on a ride back in time to listen once again to that V8 music that made all of our hearts sing.
Because in a lot of places, the boss is back. But now, it's wearing a badge.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Well, Eric, is this a snake in the grass or another pony project?
Yeah, well, have we got a Mustang here before?
We've had the Cougar here before, but this, I believe, other than the Mach 1, our inaugural Mustang. And what a Mustang, because it's a 1993 Cobra.
Call me Snake.
Yep. Well, once again, I wish teenage me could see what I'm doing now, because he'd be over the moon. This is kind of a car I lusted after as a kid.
Oh, you're not alone. Oh, I love these little cars back in the 90s. These were so popular with some of our friends in high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the cool kids had this.
And the owner of this car would be one of them, because he drove around in an 86 Mustang GT, which is why he has a collection of them to this day. Mm-hmm. They were such great little cars. Well, what can you tell us? What have you been up to with this one?
So this one came in with a couple of electrical problems. Some of them I've fixed, some of them I haven't. I'll tell you, I guess the good news first, what I fixed. One of his complaints was that the power door locks didn't work. And he also told me that this car, when he bought it, I think he said when he bought it, or at some point he knew that it had an aftermarket alarm and or remote start in it. And he pulled out the module himself or had someone else do it, but he knew that not everything was pulled out. So I did some, quick and sloppy troubleshooting. And basically, yeah, I found out that the remains of what was left of that aftermarket stuff is what was causing it. I don't remember where the wires are going, but...
That's the culprit.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the locks must have either failed when he pulled the old aftermarket unit out, or maybe the unit failed, and then that's what caused the locks to not work. Whatever, but I had to... This was in the way. Someone had to cut the wires to the locks, open it up. They had this in there. The computer that was doing the alarm was in control of it all. Someone else pulled out the module, left this behind, and that's why the locks weren't working. So literally all I did was, I'm making it sound easier than it was because the harness was very difficult to get to. Pulled this out and put the wires back together, and so, look at that. It works. And it works on both sides.
And while we're here, how about you slide behind the wheel and give us a quick tour?
Alrighty.
Because this is a low mileage example in beautiful glossy black.
You can see some of the results of the other electrical problem we're dealing with.
This thing has got to work.
I replaced some of the capacitors in there, and the capacitors were going bad. They were starting to leak onto the circuit board, but unfortunately it still gives the code 52. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more looking and see if there's something I can do about that.
But I understand that's not uncommon with Fords of this era.
Yeah, unfortunately not all of the airbag modules are the same. There are variations in the airbag modules, and yeah, because it's a common problem, it happens on police package Crown Vics too.
Whoa, an airbag!
Anyway, what else?
Well, just talking about this as a prime example of the last of the Fox bodies.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. 86,000 miles it says, but you wouldn't know it by looking at the interior or anything. This car is completely rust-free. Nothing's worn, although in my experience, 80s and 90s car interiors usually hold up pretty well anyway if you just do some basic stuff. Keep them in the garage and things. And I don't remember everything about it, but like I say, I did lust after these cars as a kid, so I know a few things. I think these wheels are specific to the Cobra. They're directional wheels, so if you look at them, they're kind of fan-shaped. There's a left side and a right side. I remember when I worked at the tire store right out of high school, I used to see these cars and the Lincolns and the Thunderbirds all had these directional Ford wheels on them.
Let me think it over, will you, Charlie? I got a guy on the other line about some white walls. I'll talk to you later.
Interestingly, I had read on the Cobra owners group that these cars, the suspension, believe it or not, is actually tweaked a little bit softer so that it responds slightly more gradually because it has the bigger wheels and tires, and it brakes more aggressively.
Okay.
So the Ford engineers determined that what this car needed for optimum performance was not to be quicker in response, but actually to be a fraction of a second slower in how the suspension reacts.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. I particularly like the fact that the grille is just a little bit more open. I think that's a cool touch.
And in the 70s, of course, the Bandit Trans Ams were the bad boy cars. All the police cars were trying to chase, and yet I remember these distinctly from the 80s and 90s as being the practical car of choice for all the gearheads out there that could often get themselves in trouble racing around in their little Fox Mustangs with their V8s power.
Same time tomorrow?
How about under the hood? Did you do any work there?
Not yet, but he's complaining that the valve cover gaskets are leaking. And they're not leaking too bad, but it's enough that you can smell it when the engine runs. So I gotta order valve cover gaskets for it, and I'll do that. And then, like I say, I gotta do a little bit of digging with the electrical problem with the airbag module. And then after that, I think it's done.
Yes, this car did not have a laundry list accompanying it, because the owner told us, like most of the Mustangs in his collection, it runs and drives phenomenally.
I'm sure it does. I kind of wish it had a driving problem, because then I'd have an excuse to go test drive it.
Yes, we'd have an excuse to take it out.
I'm sure
and
he
test it
probably
more.
wouldn't mind if we put just a couple miles on it, but I don't want to take it far. I don't have the luck for that.
No, but if we can do just a little test drive around the industrial park here a little later on, I'd love to show the audience how these cars, and this one is a time capsule, how they perform even to this day. They are really a well-priced, well-designed overall mid-performance car for the time. Nimble, light. They were used across the United States as police vehicles for a short time, from the 1980s right up until 1993. And this is one of the last ones. I understand the Cobra package as it stands was pretty much carried over into the 94 model year, but it lost this, in my opinion, more attractive body.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that will agree with you. There's the Fox bodies like this, they definitely have a greater following than the ones that came after them.
So they were popular then, and I think they're deservedly popular now. So, I guess you'll continue on getting to the bottom of that valve cover leak,
Yeah.
and we'll see where we go from there.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to this one. I know it's already been a pain to you.
Well,
I'm gonna do all the wiring.
I hope I don't, maybe I shouldn't say this where the car can hear me, but I think the worst of it's over. The airbag module is not as bad to get to as the harness that whoever spliced into to do this.
I'm with you there. So let's hope that our 93 Cobra Mustang here doesn't end up being a total snake.
Screw the honor system. My car needs me.
So now that Eric has got to know this 93 Mustang a bit better, let's take a few minutes to look back at the history of the Ford Mustang and its third generation, the platform that spawned the SVT Cobra. The Ford Motor Company was facing a new wave of challenges in the early 1970s. Much of the American car industry was facing the effects of fuel shortages, labor strikes, EPA taxes, dwindling sales, and new competition from across the ponds. While their older compact cars like the Pinto and the Maverick had sold well, the technology underneath was carried over from the 1950s. Ford's management looked at the modern and sophisticated intermediates entering the US market from Germany, and they realized that their own cars not only looked dated by comparison, they were becoming downright primitive. Audi had recently released the Fox in 1973, and it was their first mainstream success here in the US. Not only was it Europe's car of the year, it was modern, efficient, sporty, and fun to drive, everything the older American models lacked. So inspired by Audi's Fox cars, Ford engineers set to work designing an efficient yet simple McPherson strut suspension with a live rear axle, like those of European cars. They aptly named their newly inspired design the Fox platform. After all, what better namesake to hunt down the rascally Volkswagen Rabbit?
It's a Golf, and that's really all there is to say about it.
Hey, what's the matter with you anyway? Don't you even know a rabbit when you see one?
And let's face it, after the beefed-up, rip-snorting big block Mustangs featured in movies like Bullitt, a four-cylinder Mustang II based on the Pinto wasn't going to be turning any heads in the decade of disco.
The all-new Mustang II, almost 19 inches smaller than last year's Mustang, even smaller than the original one.
Fast forward to 1979, and the new Fox body Mustang was unveiled to rave reviews. It even turned heads at the Indianapolis 500 as the pace car that year.
There's a new breed of Mustang for 79. I'm Jackie Stewart, putting the 79 Mustang through its paces at Indy. It's an exciting looking motor car with advanced aerodynamic styling, but I like what's behind its good looks. Precise handling, flat cornering, good driving position, and a wide choice of 4 engines, including the standard 2.3-litre overhead cam. Put a 79 Mustang through the paces at your local Ford dealer.
Ford's sales team knew they had a winner on their hands, and they spared no expense telling the world that the spirit of the original 60s Mustang was back, with all the flash and cheese of the 1980s.
Where we take it. Look out, world. Look out. Here comes Ford.
From air dam to spoiler, this is a Mustang with a message. Powered by a 5-liter high-output engine, it says, "Stand back. The street belongs to GT."
Look out, world. Look out. Hey, look out. Here comes Ford.
And while the LX and GTs were jazzing it up, the new Special Service Mustang was gearing up and getting serious. Ford began to offer a formal police package version of the Mustang LX, which provided needed performance to the world of traffic enforcement in the 1980s. The Michigan State Police began evaluating the Special Service Mustang as soon as it was offered in 1982. More than 30 other state police and highway agencies would purchase the Mustang between 1982 and 1993, with some 15,000 being produced and put into service by American law enforcement. And although performance was a bit underwhelming at first, Ford's engineers did not sit idly by. After all, how could they when their marketing team declared to the world that their Special Service Mustang chased Porsches for a living? As a result, Ford continued refining the Fox body Mustang with bigger carbs and fuel injection, bigger wheels and tires, extra oil coolers, and special suspension components brought over from their special vehicle team. By 1993, the little Mustang was easily the fastest police car in America. Its stylish looks, performance pedigree, and range of options meant that it appealed to men as much as it did women.
Help! We're being carjacked!
Just get clever, old man. Now take us to Dress Barn.
So by the time the Fox Mustang had run its life cycle, Ford was ready to celebrate its most popular sports car by bringing back the Cobra Appearance Package, only this time with a twist. Ford would use all of its experiences with the Special Service Mustangs, and through developments with the Special Vehicle team, they would release a special performance-tuned version of the GT in the form of the '93 Cobra. And speaking of the Cobra, let's see how Eric is managing with our customer's revered reptile.
Yeah, here's the valve cover gaskets that came out. They don't, I don't know, they don't look obviously damaged to me. Maybe I could have reused them, but I don't want to do the job twice. So, you know, they're cheap enough. If it was my car, I'd replace them, so that's what I did.
And what did you replace them with?
Gaskets that look exactly like this.
Any specific brand?
What O'Reilly's had. The thing is over here. Fel-Pro.
Fel-Pro for the 5.0 Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sounds good. And I'm sure the little black Mustang is going to be running even better.
As long as it's not leaking.
I would call it a relatively minor oil leak.
Yeah, it ran great. It just stunk of, burning oil a little bit.
And this customer, he has such exacting standards that if any little thing is wrong with one of his cars, he wants it addressed ASAP. And that's the way we like our customers to be. Uncompromising and willing to pay for good work. Well, I would say my usual line, which is, what do you say, Eric? Time for a test drive? But you're already halfway there. But here we are in the 1993 Ford Mustang Cobra.
Yeah, once again, this is a car that teenage me really lusted after. I would have been happy with a GT. This is a Cobra. So let's see, this car didn't need a lot of work. Biggest thing so far, it was leaking oil from the valve cover gaskets. So I replaced the valve cover gaskets, which wasn't that big of a job. So now we're just test driving it to see if it's gonna leak and stink. It might a little bit because I didn't, you can't clean all the oil off. But as long as it's better. We are still working on a problem with the airbag. And I found out that there's a big capacitor that deploys the airbag if you're ever in a collision that's so bad that the battery cable gets cut before the airbag deploys. There's a big capacitor that deploys it that apparently go bad all the time, which doesn't surprise me. And so I ordered it. It's on the way. I'm hoping to have it by, let's see, today's Friday. I'm hoping it comes in by Wednesday of next week. And actually, it should be a slightly better capacitor. It's the same rating, 33,000 microfarads, 25 volts. But the one that was in there, for some weird reason, was only had an operating temperature of 90 degrees, which seems pretty low for an automotive application for a car that might sit in the sun, especially a black car.
What?
The one that I found, I think, is rated for 140 degrees. Oop. So if anything, it's going to be a bit better.
Well, speaking of making it better, boy, this is, I won't say the ride is comfortable, but boy, it feels like a sports car.
It's not bad, and I believe the owner was telling us that these cars are actually sprung a little bit more softly than the GTs.
Right.
And it actually does help the handling.
Yes. I was reading up on that when they explained that the 1993 model Cobras, not only is it the introductory year for the GT40 heads, which the owner also knew, but he also confirmed, yes, they are tuned slightly softer in how quickly the suspension responds, because this car has different tires, different brakes. It's uprated in many ways to provide superior handling over the factory performance GT package. Now, we're not Mustang experts by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, part of the fun of having a classic car shop is learning about the history and features of our favorite cars, right along with you. That's how we found TV automotive magazine MotorWeek offering up the best insight into the handling and performance of the Cobra when they reviewed the car in this video essay from 1993.
Handling was an area where Ford's special vehicle team paid particular attention. And if our information is correct, the 1993 Cobra's front McPherson strut and rear trailing link suspension will be very similar to the one under the redesigned '94 Mustang. That's good news because the Cobra handles better than any other Mustang we've grabbed by the reins. With a softer suspension beneath all four corners, we found the Cobra turns in a bit slower, yet settles down in corners much better. A revised intake manifold, new GT40-inspired cylinder heads, larger valves, and a host of other refinements increase peak horsepower while decreasing torque to 280 pound-feet. The standard 5-liter remains at 300 even. Even without the superior torque of lesser Mustangs, the Cobra is still the quickest of them all. 0 to 60 happens in only 5.6 seconds, or about a half-second faster than our recent test of the 93 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. And the Cobra can slither through the quarter mile in an even more impressive 14.3 seconds at 98 miles per hour.
And in fact, for a performance package, this is pretty low-key. I believe the owner told us there were only a few options available on this car, including the sunroof above you.
Yeah, and I think leather seats. And I don't know if an automatic was available or not. This one obviously is a stick. And I know there were 3 different colors, black, red, and turquoise. And that was the only colors you could get them in. I think that was it. I don't know if you people want to see a big smoky burnout or anything like that, but I'm not that kind of guy, and I don't treat customers' cars that way unless I have to for some reason to, I don't know, diagnose it or something.
Or at their own request.
Yeah, and this owner, he probably would be okay with it, I think, but he did not expressly tell me, yes, you can do a big smoky burnout in my car, and I don't need to diagnose it, so I'm not going to. And then the other thing is, really, this car doesn't have anything to prove. Everybody knows it can do a big smoky burnout. I'm not going to do it just to do it, just to show you it can. It doesn't have to prove it.
My friends in northern Michigan, they would take these cars to the track, they would soup them up, they would do extravagant, insane things to the engines, they would get them down into the 10 or sub 10 second brackets. These cars were light, these cars were nimble, they could take an almost infinite number of upgrades and modifications. It's pretty remarkable.
And this one here is actually pretty stock.
Very.
It does have an aftermarket radio in it. It does have aftermarket headers on it. I think he said he has the original headers. And then when I took the valve covers off, it looked like it had aftermarket rocker arms on it, but I mean, who knows? They're not the standard GT heads, so I don't know if they're the standard rocker arms at all. They just were pretty beefy looking rocker arms. I should have took a picture, I wish I had. Notice that you don't smell any oil yet. By now, you know, beforehand, this car was burning oil. I don't smell it now. So, that's good.
Very good. This does take me back. I may not have ridden in a lot of these, but I know some fellas that had them when I was a teenager, and boy, these were cool cars. And I thought they were doubly cool because, of course, the Michigan State Police used these 1992 models as well. So I always had a soft spot for the Fox body Mustangs, knowing their lineage as a evolutionary performance car at a time when, let's face it, the malaise era is in full swing in 1979, and out comes the new Fox Mustang.
Yeah, this is with a bunch of cars that finally brought muscle back. You know, it was this car, I believe the twin-port injection Camaros and the Grand Nationals all came out at about the same time, and they were the first of the 80s muscle cars that could hang with the 60s muscle cars. So,
and look good doing it.
Time.
Yes, and these cars look good doing it. I think they were only good in 79 and 80. I think the 5-liter 4-barrel, or excuse me, the 2-barrel. 4-barrel wasn't available yet. The 2-barrel cars were good for about 150 horsepower.
Which is actually pretty good for the time.
For the time, considering how light they were and what a small car they were. But by the time you got up here into the late 80s, early 90s, you've got the electronic fuel injection, sequential fuel injection, I believe. That Ford 302 is just buzzing along, happy as it could be.
Although, honestly, I kind of have a hard time believing someone put headers on it and left the rest of the exhaust stock.
That's a good point.
It does not sound very likely at all.
But from where I'm sitting, it's not objectively loud. It's very stock sounding. It's very restrained. And yet, every time you let off the clutch, oh, I can just feel this car chomping at the bit, wanting to get going in a hurry.
It's nowhere near driving aggressively.
But this car just moves like a shot.
235 horsepower and no weight. These cars just don't weigh anything. I think they were just barely 3,000 pounds.
It's a simple question of weight ratios.
I do remember you didn't see a lot of them when they were new.
No, that's very true. I believe this is only one of something around 5,400 of these were made in '93.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Making it a pretty low production modern classic. Hard to believe that cars we grew up with in the 90s are already classics. But it happens to the best of them, and this is one of the best of the era. I'm glad we got a chance to admire and enjoy this '93 Ford Mustang Cobra.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it when it's gone.
So now that we've gotten to experience a taste of the power and style offered up by the Mustang Cobra, let's hear from the folks at Ford who designed it in this dealership announcement from 1993.
The new 1993 Ford Mustang Cobra is the first car developed by the company's special vehicle team. The Cobra is based on the current Mustang GT, but has some unique styling cues. What really sets the Cobra apart from other Mustangs, though, is the car's functional changes. The Cobra is powered by a modified 5-liter V8 engine that puts out 235 horsepower, 30 more horsepower than the Mustang V8. The changes and improvements make the Cobra a unique, multi-dimensional car. 5,000 1993 Mustang Cobras will be built. The cars will be sold by a limited number of Ford dealers beginning in January.
And even though we're having fun testing this snake-bitten Fox Mustang, there was one more surprise in store for us. It's a 90s kind of day out here in our little industrial park.
Yeah, I guess it is.
We just had that 1993 or 4 Ford Explorer from the movie Jurassic Park.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw a nice Ford Explorer? Look, that's got to be a Western Dakota. Yeah, you guys didn't see it quite in time. The paint is a little faded, but I don't see any rust on it. Nice truck.
Let's catch it.
You want to? I let him go. He's already turning on the North Avenue. Okay, that's all right. I got to see it. That's cool enough. All right, well, I think I'm gonna head back.
Yeah, this is a successful road test.
Yeah, I mean, by now we would have smelled oil. I don't smell anything. So, all right, well, check another car off the bucket list.
I'm with you there. I've always had a soft spot for these cars. And getting to drive around in one today is a pretty fun treat. Especially one that looks and sounds as good as this one does. Well, thanks, Eric. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
We'll pick this up again with another fun car right here at Chase Classic Motors very soon. Go get him, little pony.
You're at the wheel of America's most popular sports car, Mustang.
We're gonna drive some hot stuff, baby, this evening. We're gonna drive my Mustang, baby, tonight.
Mustang. Engineered for seat-of-the-pants response with rack and pinion steering. Mustang, a car that bites when cornered. Precision-tuned. Mustang turns high mileage into Mustang. From the world of better ideas at Ford.
Well, friends and neighbors, there you have it. Another successful test drive and a fun trip down memory lane with the car that we both idolized as teenagers. We hope you've enjoyed riding along with us and looking back at the history of the Fox Body Mustang. Not only was it Ford's most popular sports car, it helped to revive the excitement and fun of American cars in the eyes of the public. From drop-top convertibles and suave LX styling for the ladies, to muscular GT flanks, racing pedigree, and go-fast police pursuit packages for the guys, the Fox Body Mustang was able to appeal to all segments of buyers who wanted a mid-price, affordable sports car that could double as a daily commuter and family fun machine.
Take a deep breath, kids. That's enough. You're sucking up all the new.
While it shared the same suspension design and underpinnings with less exciting models in the Ford lineup, the Fox Mustang was the first to break through the malaise cage that was stifling American cars. It seems that European influence in suspension design, combined with advancements in engine technology, were the winning combination that made the third-generation Mustang a car to be celebrated and enjoyed. Ford must have thought so too, as their newly minted special vehicle team tweaked the '93 Mustang and successfully hatched the Cobra and Cobra R, the best versions that the Fox era could offer. Today, the Fox Mustang is remembered by its blend of 80s nostalgia and its numerous roles on the street and on the track. Perhaps it's no wonder that we remember them so fondly, a time in our lives when us 80s kids were looking forward to the world of 90s adulthood and the opportunity to make the roads our own. And the Mustang was the car that inspired much of that spirit, as they were the ones that made us want to be both the cops as well as the robbers. So be sure to leave us a comment about your experiences with a Fox Mustang, and we'll see you next time. If you enjoy automotive content like we do, consider subscribing to our channel, or check out our website to join our VIP-only high-speed chase club for early videos and other great perks.